So yeah, it's so interesting because we are filming today in Malaysia, right? So we bring in Bassam to Malaysia. I followed you a few times to Kuala, to Saudi, to Dubai. Now you came to Malaysia as well. So for me, as interior designer, it's so interesting working with Zoush, under Zoush together, that we are situated in Dubai, one of the UAEs. And I also learn a lot about all the Emirates. Being here in Malaysia after 8 years, you adjust to the Asian culture. We still have our Western education and projects and materials and things. Going to Dubai, things change so much. Like the project we've been working on, the meeting in Saudi, now the royal family project we are doing in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Working on the Royal Atlantis, which actually was like a client from us from Cambodia that connects to Nick again.
Yeah.
Because we started like years ago with a lot of projects in Cambodia.
Yeah.
And then those clients actually recommended us to a project in Dubai. So
The Royal Atlantis.
it's so interesting that it's all connected.
All the dots are connected together.
It's very nice. And then learning all the cultures in Dubai and Saudi, Abu Dhabi, I think it also enriches our designs, opens up our spectrum and in architecture, interior.
Middle East culture is entirely, different from the Asian thing.
Yeah.
So I've been living there for so long, so I can understand. It's all about the language, but there's a significant difference in the cultural thing. So that's very important to understand that.
Yes, yeah, and that's good that we have you as a beacon for that. And then we had those amazing presentation in Dubai, one of those nights.
That was downtown. Yeah.
It was really interesting. We prepared a project presentation. We come into a private room and there was like...
It was a cigar launch cigar launch of the entire, just downtown. So it was nice. It was a very big event.
And we didn't really know who the audience was.
Yeah, true.
And then 2 minutes before we start the presentation, we were informed that 2 extra guests were joining.
Coming,
So for us, like mystery guests.
Yeah.
So who would have thought that a few weeks later they become one of our biggest clients ever?
Yeah, and in fact, in that event, one of the Sheikh, ruler family was there. Dubai Land Department CEO was there. So many very high-level people were there. But we never expected this guest, who turned out to be one of the biggest clients.
Yeah.
So we met them right there.
That's an interesting story to tell, isn't it? It's in a way life sort of brings things together like this. Like how three of us met is just the same way, right?
It unfolds in a very different way.
Correct.
So it was very nice. We had a presentation and we had a discussion with the Sheikh.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it turns out that one of our clients is from South Africa and speaks Dutch like I do as well. And the other one from Austria, and I speak a little bit of German. So in between the meetings, they saw some designs, and they said let's meet up soon. And we say, yeah, we can, but tomorrow morning we have a very important meeting. Okay, so let's see if we can meet after that. So then we go to the meeting in the morning, and we are having a coffee at Starbucks there. And who shows up?
Yeah. Their meeting was also with the same. We were meeting, so we just met again there. So it was it was a coincidence, and after our meeting, they had another meeting there. So from there,
But what an adventure it's been since then, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And it still is.
And still is.
It's going.
And still is.
And it was very interesting how how the setting was, but also how the arrangement was. We had a discussion with them. They said you introduced a project today, but we are so interested. We want to take you and the project with us.
Yeah.
So there was a game changer. It was so interesting. And then we had a social talk, and then actually it turns out that one of them used to live in Malaysia for a long time as well.
Yeah.
So there was a very special connection, nicely also on a personal base.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we had the presentation in Dubai.
They're very, very, very close now.
Correct.
The client, they appreciate our work, and it's really nice.
Yeah. And that's only 3 months ago.
3-4 months.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey since.
Very, and this last 4 months is you've been working 24 hours, for them. So they kept us so busy.
Right.
Well, the scope of the project is I think, one of the biggest we've done. the details and the level of intricateness and everything we are telling in the story and the branding, I think is very special to do.
Once you realize it is going to be like the biggest project in Dubai, because even much bigger than Burj Khalifa or any other landmark projects.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the biggest project in terms of numbers, in terms of the body message.
Yeah.
So,
And what I like about it is that it connects with a very local story.
Yes.
It's not the tallest tower, it's not the biggest, but it connects with, the stories of old.
Yes.
yeah.
And it also points towards the future, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's what connected with our clients as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because it was bigger than just buildings and bigger than just interior design. It was of the land.
We talk about a lot of heritage, a lot of local stuff,
Yeah.
That's very, the people in Middle East are very fond of their local stuff, They really love to be like, somebody who's like, bringing like the tradition and adding it to culture. It's something they appreciate a lot.
Yes. Because I think from the outside, at least from Malaysia, I'm a Malaysian, you look at the Middle East, very often you see oil as, the big thing people talk about. You see a lot of stereotypes, which are very unhealthy stereotypes, right? But when you're actually on the ground, which I did for the first time, right, you feel that it's such a rich history. There's such a big story, all right, and the culture, the colors, the fabrics, the spices, it's so rich. Yeah, so it's really a privilege, I think, to be working with our clients, DDX, on what is a very exciting project.
Yeah. I do think like when we have clients like this who give us a certain freedom and respect and trust, but also are interested in the story,
Correct.
so in the history, in the connection with Dubai and how it all started, like the pearls and sort of trading, with the pearls, diving with the pearls, risking people their lives, and the whole story is so much bigger than you just imagine. And we all know the big high-rise buildings, we know all the brandings going on. And I do love that we have something really like in contrast.
Yes.
It's a very different approach, and I think that's why it resonates so well within us.
It's a marriage between the old and new, the sophisticated one.
Correct.
So there are not many projects with that kind of storytelling,
Right.
So it's not just about a building. It's not about a fancy, because Dubai has a lot of fancy buildings, very nice, very very opulent buildings. But same time, we have a story to say. They're bringing the old cultural things, or how Dubai evolved. Because people from outside, when they look at Dubai, or even, in general in the Middle East, it's more about the oil and stuff like that. But nobody actually knows that in the earlier days, they were like depending on the pearl, pearl culturing, those kind of things. So, we are doing a good R&D on these things and bringing up all those old things back into.
Yeah, it's a project that is born of the land.
Yeah.
That represents the land. So it's not something that's imported in or parachuted in from Europe or from Asia. It's from Dubai. It is Dubai. It is Dubai. Definitely.
Yeah, and I like that we connect the past and the present and the future.
Past, wasn't it?
So that all comes together. We connect the sky, the desert, and the sea. So we have these connections going on.
So all the matters of things like earth, land, sea.
And that's one thing that never struck me about how beautiful the land actually is.
Yeah, sure.
We think that it's just desert, right? That flat and featureless, but actually it
has a different beauty.
Beautiful out there.
Yeah, definitely. It was formed in a very short period, but by a very genius idea of Nick as well, to create this city and celebrate the pearl as a feature in the middle. To be honest, now our clients have more ambitions, what they have told us lately. So the project actually is like increasing to a bigger master plan, and with some amazing designs we have been working on, which we'll be revealing in a few weeks in Budapest. For quite a big crowd, so that's going to be interesting.
5,000 plus people.
And I think that time we also reveal the ambition from our client, direction of our clients, and we also can actually highlight a lot of the skills and the storytelling that we have been working on the last few months. So I think that will be a very much a celebration point for ourselves as well in our careers to showcase this kind of project. And I think we're all proud to be part of this journey.
Absolutely.
It is. Yeah, we are. Yeah, look, I think the pearl comprises of, the desert pearl comprises of about 5 buildings, right?
I think this is it, how it looks.
Correct. It's got luxury hotels, luxury apartments. Correct. Yeah, so the pearl itself is I guess a hospitality and a tourism and an experience sort of place. So we're thinking it could house a gallery which celebrates astronomy, obviously hanging gardens, the local Dubai flora and fauna, but also performance spaces which allow for cultural performances to take place.
Yeah.
Right. And ultimately, it's a place for the people. We wanted this sort of very simple symbol, like a pearl, very precious but a very simple geometry that's at the heart of this city.
It's going to be very special, Dubai has never seen in the Middle East.
Correct.
So we wanted to do everything possible to make it highly special. It's like a very unique project.
Yes.
So yeah, I think you can talk more about the sand dune shape.
Yeah. So the buildings are inspired, or at least it draws from the land. All right. Again, the features of the desert being not featureless, actually full of features. The oasis, the mounds of the dunes. So that's sort of how we started. We wanted it to be sort of formed off the ground. So not a building that's sort of placed on the ground, but the building is the ground and sort of sculpted, and it's responsive. Ultimately, it feels connected with the land. The pearl sort of comes and connects us back to that, big story of the seafaring history of Dubai and the Middle East. Actually, is one thing you never think about when you think about the Middle East, right? You don't think of the sea, you think of the desert. But there's something very powerful about the sea. They have a huge coastline and beautiful, crystal clear sea. So we wanted to connect, the sky, the land, the dunes, and the sea, and bring it together like that.
And I like that you also, we were able to include experiences.
Correct.
So actually we create the experience of pearl diving.
It's a lot of harmony in one place.
Yes. And then we have like an underwater suite.
Yeah.
So people can actually experience and actually
Exactly.
spend time and a night underwater and be part of the whole scene,
Right.
So I like that it's not only a building, but also it comes down to experiences.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just something you look at, but you feel, when you're there.
Experience. It's moving.
And now also very interesting, we make it very tangible because we are actually designing the first
The units,
apartments
yeah.
and penthouses.
Correct.
So one of the buildings is called Midnight Pearl. Huh? So we got still the inspiration from there. And it's very interesting because the whole scheme and the color and the ambience will be very different than maybe people expect to have in Dubai. And then we are making the angles and the views from the unit, and you actually have the full experience of the pearl from outside of your unit. So
Correct.
we're all quite excited to share this
Yeah.
and develop the rest of the story.
Yeah, so the desert pearl is obviously part of a broader master plan that this visionary client of ours is planning for the next 5-10 years, right? Remember when they got us to start thinking beyond the pearl, right? When it's just so recent, right? So it's and to build on this idea of again connecting with the local culture. Another big part of the Middle Eastern culture is their fashion, right? The design, the intricacies of patterns, textiles, the caravans, things like that, right? So we Marco, I remember when you first came up with that idea of maybe collecting, and bringing together a fashion district.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Which celebrates fashion. So not just locally, but globally, becoming a landmark, a destination for the fashion industry and a marker for Dubai.
Yep, cool.
No, and what I really like about this situation, Mark, we are filming now, and we of course have some information that we people don't know yet.
Yeah.
So we are revealing later something in Budapest.
Yeah.
And I like this, it's like a small secret, like a blockbuster.
Yeah.
This is something new for us as well.
Yeah.
So we're revealing it in a few weeks. So that's very interesting.
And very hard to hold also.
Yeah. This is very cool. But I think the fashion precinct, I really like the journey, how we went through it.
Yeah.
It started like an extra project.
Yeah.
The briefing was actually a fashion tower.
It actually evolved into a destination project rather than, just a standalone project.
Yeah.
Because all these are like connected, fashion, Dubai, Desert Pearl and all these things. It's like it has been evolved into a very big destination project.
Correct.
I would say this fashion tower, we had this discussion of Milan Fashion Week and all these things. So we're trying to bring over everything, I think probably in the next couple of, once this project is realized,
Yeah, I like.
Dubai would be like an icon,
Correct.
Say like Milan Fashion Week, something like that.
Exactly.
No, I think with this fashion precinct, which turned out as a briefing for the tower, but then we keep involving it, and we're thinking about the catwalk, and then we create a catwalk, like you said, like 360. So we are thinking differently,
Because there's a world, we have a lot of things in there.
Correct.
It's really interesting.
And it's sort of quite quickly evolved away from our traditional way of thinking about, a building, right? Yes. And we sort of say, how can we create almost a district that is dedicated to fashion and celebrating, the beauty in fashion, right? And the circle came about.
The circle came back, yeah.
And there's in sort of Middle Eastern, in the sort of Arabic world, the circle represents this idea of completeness.
Yep.
And unity, and what a perfect sort of symbol, right? So simple,
Yes.
but so pure.
It's very organic. The shape is organic.
Correct.
It's not just another building. If you look at Dubai as a future museum and all that, compared to the scale of future museum, this is going to be like huge.
No, I think this is a perfect example where we challenge each other.
Yeah.
Flying challenge also gives freedom. Freedom also gives
Absolutely.
some obstacles, because if there's no freedom, no limitation, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I like our process that we were pushing each other to come with a different idea, with a different concept, and get something that we never done before.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm also so excited about how we did this as a team. It's very interesting how we get to this result.
Yep. Same.